Canada and Greenland have both been in the news lately because of threats to their territorial integrity from US President Donald Trump. But there's more than that the two have in common. There's at least five things that Greenland and Canada share. And the first of that is just being really close to each other. In recent years, we had a territorial dispute that we fixed with Denmark. Greenland is a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. It's got some autonomy over its own rule, but it's still technically Danish territory. And there's an island called Hans Island, and it was sort of smack in the middle of Nunavut and Greenland, and it was claimed by soldiers on both sides. We called it the Whiskey Wars, where we would leave a bottle of whiskey, and then the Danes would leave a bottle of their own sort of brand of liquor. And then eventually, a few years back, we negotiated a resolution to the conflict where we split it 60-40, and now we have resolved borders. Another way that the two are similar is an Inuit population. There's a lot of ties culturally, linguistically, obviously genetically, of Inuit people across the pole, but especially Nunavut and Greenland. We're talking languages that sound quite similar. We're talking about a few cultural things that are similar. There's obviously a difference. In Greenland, there's more of a Danish influence, a bit more of a Nordic way of life. And in Nunavut, obviously, there's more of an English Canadian sort of influence up there. But at the core, there's still a lot of commonality. A third thing that makes Greenland similar to Canada is climate change. We know that the polar regions are facing much more of an impact of climate change. It's much more visible in terms of the glaciers that we're seeing. It's also opening up new sea routes. And that brings us to minerals, which is obviously another thing that's in common. As the world is looking for those rare earth minerals, those critical minerals, the things in our cars, our smartphones, some of these are really hard to get. So Canada and Greenland both have these very remote deposits of rare earths, of critical minerals that people are looking to develop. And that's something that both countries are sort of looking at. Denmark and Canada have been looking at how do we do this in a way that's eco-friendly enough? And how do we do this in a way that still has some respect for the local communities? And the fifth thing that puts us in common is elbows up. Greenland has these shirts and these hats that say Greenland is not for sale. And a lot of people in Ontario will remember Premier Doug Ford putting Canada is not for sale on these hats, sort of as a way of pushing back against US President Donald Trump's threats to make Canada a 51st state. Greenland sort of has an understanding of what Canada has been going through.